This is Joanna Wziątek, and I'm today at the CyberTek Tech Festival. I'm having two guests today. First of them is Cosminem Anghel, and I'm having also Alexandru Musat. Both of them are working for a nuclear power plant, which is a big thing for me. Guys, I would like to start with a very basic question. Have you ever been to Poland, and how do you like the CyberTek Tech Festival? So I will start with Cosmin.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me today here. The event is is the first time for me in Poland, and I find Poland very nice. The people are very kind, and the food so far is pretty good. It's not similar with Romanian, but I like it. The event overall is good. I found very nice topics here, and the people are eager to learn more and be more prepared for cyber threats for sure.
Lovely, thank you for that. And Alexandru, what do you think about the festival?
Thank you very much, Joanna. For me, actually, this is the second time in Poland.
Wow.
So yes, I had the opportunity to come here earlier this year in February. Because you organized like a cybersecurity exercise for the energy sector, and it was in Warsaw, and we had the opportunity, to compete with other teams all around Europe. So it was incredible, like 5 days on exercise. It was awesome. For this event, I would say that location is top notch. I really enjoy that there are lots of specialists here in the premises, and you have this opportunity, to exchange knowledge and to be able to share, because we truly believe, that no one should navigate cybersecurity alone. So you have this opportunity, to learn from others, to learn from their experiences, to share your expertise, because in the end we are like a big European family. So we need to do that more often. So it's quite exquisite for me till now. Thanks.
I'm really glad to hear it, and I would like to go into more depth topics related to the cybersecurity, because we are all cybersecurity professionals. So, Cosmin, I would like to ask you first, with your very diverse background, because you need to know, you may check on the CyberTek website that Cosmin is a really expert in cybersecurity. Could you please share some key lessons you've learned that guided your approach to managing IT and cybersecurity teams across many organizations in your career?
Sure. I'll jump directly on the key points. First, strategy. The organization or the CIO should develop and promote internally a very clear strategy which follows the organization goals and objectives, and it should be a multi-year strategy. Second key point is cohesion and communication between the both teams. They should be aligned on the objectives, to know why cybersecurity is doing a project and what is protecting actually on the IT side. For example, if they have a big project like the document management system implementation, which require more cybersecurity controls, cybersecurity team should be aligned on that, and the other way around. So this will be the two main things that I want to mention. For sure, we can go deeper, and there will be others. Skill set, for sure. Both teams should have the required skill set to perform, and I have a theory. There is like good friction, bad friction. From time to time, as a manager, you can promote some friction just to get more and challenge the teams and get a higher performance. But it is like the secret sauce of each manager or director leader in the field that can apply in order to achieve his goals. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a pretty good answer. And because I'm having you both, and it's often that the CISO is reporting to CIO, and often This is all I know from the gossip only. The budgets for the cybersecurity things are getting rejected at your level. So could you please, Alexandru, could you please tell us how do you cooperate with Cosmin and how do you approach the problem with budget asking?
Thank you for the question. Well, I can say definitely that Cosmin challenges us. Yeah, I mean, and that is part of the job, if you ask me. Fortunate for us, we have like a long time relationship. So we worked, both of us, in a previous life for a cybersecurity company, providing security operations services to different companies all around the world. And for me, it was a challenge just to come in. So I was working back then in Switzerland, and Cosmin said, "Hey, I have like an awesome project, you know, do cyber in the nuclear world. Would you like to come and, you know, put your shoulder to it?" And I said, "Well, it sounds quite exciting. Definitely, I'm going to do that." When it comes to budgeting, and we work as a team. I mean, because both of us having this background in cybersecurity, we fully understand the phenomenon. We have like an awesome CEO who is quite young, quite ambitious. He also understands it. And we cannot take shortcuts in this domain. I mean, it's cybersecurity, but you operate a nuclear power plant, right? So you have to do it, you know, by the book. It has to be top notch. So the way I see it is that we cooperate. So all the teams with the IT guys as well. So, you know, for the greater good in the end. So I think things look quite well. Yeah. In this, would you like to add anything, boss?
I like that. It's just a recommendation for, you know, other CISOs and CIOs. Usually the dollar value for the risks is convincing anybody. You can just do a risk assessment, identify the risk value, and based on a formula, you can say if this risk will be, you know, will happen, it will cost us 3 million. If I will mitigate it, it will cost 1 million. It's just an example. And the discussion will be very short, right?
Oh, thank you very much for that answer, because this is the question that a lot of the CISO and a lot of the CAOs is asking, and how do I present that to the board, right? So Alexandru, I have another question for you. Could you elaborate a little bit on some best practices, challenges, or maybe lessons learned in the security in the nuclear world?
Okay. This is quite an awesome question, I would say, because of the field itself. So nuclear is very regulated. There are lots of regulations, internal, external, that you have to comply to. So this is like a starting point. I would say that when it comes to technology, it's pretty well done. I mean, even us, we are like a young team. We have not been with Nuclearelectrica for ages. But what we have found quite a mature program, I would say. And especially within the OT world, right? In the process where you actually produce the nuclear energy. So from a technical standpoint, I think we were pretty good right from the start, which is quite great. Everyone wants, to have this kind of, landscape, to build upon. There are some challenges, and there are still a lot of challenges. For instance, I would say, anyway, it will be like a risk approach when it comes to, further building the program. There are several risks that I've seen, and maybe when talking about frictions, because Cosmin said, so first I would name the culture, because you have like these great engineers who have been working on a plant for many years. They are quite exceptional professionals, right? They might not necessarily know cybersecurity, but they are very good when it comes to the process itself. And they say something like, "Oh, but I've been here for 20 years or so. Are you coming now and tell me that I should do things a bit different?" So definitely culture, because you have that saying that culture is strategy, at breakfast. So that would be a challenge. But now, when people see you that you are willing, to lead the effort and not just, talk, but also prove yourself, then you win them. So culture, it's okay, it's a thing, but with small steps, baby steps, you can shift that quite easily. This is one of the things. From the technical, as I said, being very well regulated, things have been done quite decently, quite well, I would say. Maybe I'm a bit modest, but they are very well, done within the plant. Some other aspects that I'm seeing, and the things that we are taking good care of on a daily basis is because I was talking about risks. So you are a target, right? You produce energy, you are part of a critical infrastructure in your country. So there are ways that someone, I'm not going to name them, but they have like fancy bear names, if you catch my joke, right? They might target you, and to take care of those aspects, okay, you have to understand, okay, what can they do in the end? And we had like a great presentation today. I said, okay, well, it's not that easy, to actually, okay, you might compromise the IT business, of the company, but the OT is not that easy. So you have to be really careful when it comes to maybe supply chain attacks, right, with contractors coming in and, doing, updates, working on PLCs, and we have like a good program for that. I said, okay, Mr. Contractor, you want to do business with us? Either you send the laptop up front, we'll take good care of it, and when you come to do the business, we'll give you the tool back, or we will provide the tools, for the job. We are taking good care of insider threats, and this is like a funny and true story. So we were like in an inspection, and we had like a really, really small data center with some equipment, and it had like no physical, electronic lock. And the guy said, we have a procedure. I'm not going in except if I'm with my coworker. I said, yeah, but in the end, you're right, you might be, upset in one day. But I have a procedure, I'm sticking to the procedure. It's not that, you have to have an extra, control in place, to keep track of things. Yeah. So you have to do that as well, to be a bit proactive and identify all of these gaps. We challenge our institution quite a lot with lots of situations, security awareness trainings. We find out things even the hard way, right? So, for instance, with phishing attacks, simulation, stuff like that. So, I would say that. So the real challenge is that okay, take good care of your people. Yep. Try to mitigate the insider threats. Yep. Possibility. Take a really, really good care about the possible supply chain attacks. The technology is not. I'm not insisting, but you have to take good care of Purview model. There is the Purview model. Do segmentations, data diodes, firewalls, micro-segmentation where possible. Allow just the enough sufficient protocols, to communicate, to run the business. This is not like reinventing the wheel. Everything is out there. The tools are in place. You just to make the full use of them, if you ask me. Building a team, it's in the end is like people, processes, technologies. You have to have the right people, the right tools. Leverage the tools, not just because you might have the tools and you don't do anything. Yes, I have that fancy tool, but I never use it, right? And the procedures to enable both people and the tools. We are working closely with the regulators because from our perspective, you have to have strong regulators in place, right? Because you have to have that extra pair of eyes that come and say, hey, take a good care, take a good look at this. So I think that would be like in a nutshell. Yeah, it really depends on how much you'd like to expand because we can discuss like forever and ever.
No, I believe that this is enough. Okay. This is a good bunch of tips that we may learn and from you. And Cosmin, if I may ask you for just a summary of one piece of advice that you would give to everybody who is working as a OT specialist, a CISO in OT field, that you may share from your perspective, because as we already discussed, nuclear power is nuclear power. There is nothing more powerful. So what would be that one piece of advice?
Yeah, it will be actually for any professional in any field. It's like a continuous learning, is part of the nuclear security culture. All the time you should be eager to learn more, to challenge your coworkers in a good way, which can generate more knowledge or knowledge base for the organization, right? So this will be my recommendation for everybody, any field. Yeah.
Awesome, fantastic. I really enjoyed talking to you. I'm really glad that you came and that you enjoyed our CyberTek Festival. Thank you for coming and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was truly an honor. I'm very humbled to be here today and speak with you and being part, in this conference. And hope to see you next time if you will invite us.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting us. A very nice event, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Take care.